The Seattle Seahawks play their second preseason game tomorrow night against the Kansas City Chiefs. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Happy Thursday. We are about 34 hours away from kickoff, and we got some stuff to talk about concerning this upcoming preseason tilt. Obviously, it's another preseason game. Obviously, it doesn't count in the standings. That doesn't mean that there isn't going to be some interesting stuff transpiring on Lumen Field tomorrow night. So, Chiefs Seahawks. Let's get through a couple of things before we start talking about the game. First of all, I'm going to be streaming in a few hours with the Hawks Nest. We're going to go live about noon, and me and him are going to talk about maybe a little bit of stuff with the Raiders game, but mostly we're just going to be talking about this Chiefs game and anything that people ask about in donations. We'll also talk about. Stream usually goes for a couple of hours. Tune in. Excuse me. Gonna have fun. You guys know how we do it by now. We've been doing this is now our 5th season of streaming together, and I think you guys kind of get the cadence and rhythm at this point, but definitely check it out. Gonna be streaming on both our channels. Starts at 12, so about 3 hours from the upload of this video. Number 2, I will be doing a watch-along stream of this game tomorrow night. Gonna be going live shortly before kickoff, and going to be streaming the whole game. Obviously, I'm not going to have the game on screen, but what I can do is have some scoreboard on screen, have some graphics on screen, have some a discussion of the plays as they happen, because I'll obviously be watching on my TV over here, and the plan is to just talk about the game as it happens, interact with chat. I'm sure we'll have a couple hundred people in the chat. The chat should be on screen. I wasn't able to get it to work the other day, but I think I'll be able to get it to work this time. You guys know how watch-along streams work. The Hawks Nest does them pretty much every Seahawks game. There are other YouTubers that do watch-along streams, so if you guys have been part of those streams before, you know how it works. We just sit there, we talk about the game, we have discussions about play-by-play, and we talk about whatever ramifications there may be for the team going forward. Okay, definitely try to be there because I don't do a lot of watch-alongs. And third of all, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, click the bell for notifications, become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to support the channel. Okay. Chiefs Seahawks, another home preseason game. The early indication is that it's going to be kind of the opposite of the Raiders game. The Chiefs, they're not really going to be playing their starters. It sounds like maybe a few, but they're not going to go too heavy. Seahawks, on the other hand, look like they're going to be giving their starters an opportunity to do what they can do. So, yeah, it's the opposite of last week. I'm a little bit disappointed by that because the Chiefs are known for playing their starters in preseason more than the average team. The Chiefs are a team that is known to give their starters extra time compared to the average. And there was some anticipation this was going to be one of the games where they got their guys out there, but Andy Reid has already kind of shut down Mahomes, shut down Kelsey. And look, Kelsey makes sense because he's such an old player. I don't think there's really much of a decision to be made there. Travis Kelce shouldn't be playing in any preseason game. I don't even know if he should be playing in regular season games because I don't think there's a lot of juice left in that tank. Chris Jones is not going to be playing. I doubt we see guys like Creed Humphrey. I doubt we see guys like Nick Bolton. You'll probably see some of their low-level starters that might actually benefit from having this preseason time in a way beyond just getting warmed up, like they actually need the reps to get better as a player. I wouldn't expect very much, though. And on the Seahawks side, we've heard that we're going to see a little bit of the starters. I don't know for how long. I don't know if there's a plan to have them get X number of drives. I don't know if they want to leave them in there until they see something positive. I don't know. And there are obviously going to be some exceptions. Oluwatimi, I can't imagine he plays in this game. That would be a little irresponsible because of the injury that he's dealing with. Even if he was physically capable, he hasn't practiced in, I think, over a week now. I don't think you're going to see players like Tyrese Knight. I think they've already kind of established that he's going to miss the whole preseason. Obviously, no Charles Cross. But once you get into that kind of stuff, you invite problems. If you're going to have Sam Darnold out there, but you're not going to give him his starting left tackle or his starting center, how long can you really leave him in there before you start risking something? The answer is not very long. So I wouldn't expect that much. I don't think we're going to go all out trying to win this game. I don't think we're going to go all out trying to let the starters run things up. It might be as simple as one drive, get them out of there, just so they get into the rhythm and cadence of the season. Really might be something like that. And fine by me. Fine by me. I've seen it happen before. Teams try to play their starting quarterback without their starting offensive line, and bad things happen. Fun fact, that's actually how Geno Smith became the starter in New York over a decade ago when the Jets put him out there behind, or put Mark Sanchez out there, behind the Jets. I think it was the third string offensive line in a preseason game. He got hurt, and the rest, well, it's not history because Geno flamed out about as hard as you can in New York, but regardless. The point I'm trying to make is you got to be a little bit careful here. You got to be a little bit cautious. Now, obviously, I want to see what those starters do. I want to see what Darnold does. I want to see what JSN does. Cooper Kupp. If K9 plays, that's going to be interesting how he meshes with the run scheme. We'll presumably see more of the starting offensive linemen that are healthy. Zabel, Bradford, Lucas. That's going to be part of the equation here. And if we do see starters on the defense, I'm going to definitely try to feel things out there. But once again, the eyes are really on the backups and the reserves because those are the guys that can change their fate as players in a game like this. Tory Horton. If Tory Horton has another good game and we don't see very much from Marquez Valdes-Scantling, I think that's it. I think that Horton's the guy. So there's a lot at stake for him. There's not much at stake for JSN. JSN is not going to get benched if he plays a bad preseason game. Cooper Kupp is not going to get benched if he has a bad preseason game. But Tory Horton, he's got all the momentum. If he plays a good game against the Chiefs here and MVS is quiet, I think it's his. And obviously, as the number 3 receiver in this offense, you're not really the starter, but you're going to get to play a decent amount. You're going to get reps. You're going to get opportunities. And that's really exciting. Horton is the guy who has a multi-year contract here. He's a lot cheaper than MVS. There's upside that there isn't with MVS. If anything, MVS has downside because he's been in the league a while. Now, I don't think that MVS gets cut either way. I think you want to have a player like him around just in case things go wrong. But we're getting to that point where you just have more reason to play Horton. And I'm starting to feel like that is going to be the case. So that's way more interesting than watching what a guy like Sam Darnold does, because Sam Darnold's going to be the starter no matter what. Nobody else has a real chance. The only way Darnold doesn't start is if he gets hurt. And the only way he gets hurt is if he plays too much in this game. Like, the more he plays, the more likely that is. So we got that going on. Horton's probably the main feature of a game like this. George Holani, I think, is next up. I don't know if Holani has jumped Damien Martinez yet, but I feel like this is a game where if we see Holani look better than Martinez, he probably will. And I've been reticent to believe that it's going to happen, but at a certain point, the proof is in the pudding. Damien Martinez is on some level already kind of limited because he's not a great receiving back. In college, he was not a great blocking back. There have been some positive signs with him in camp so far in that regard. But there are some limitations there. And if he doesn't show he can run the ball effectively, there's not a lot there that you're going to want to keep around. Now, you can carry 4 running backs and just have Holani be 3 and Martinez be 4. That may happen on a team like this, especially. But for the moment, if you only carry 3 and then you're carrying the fullback, because remember, a guy like Robbie Oots is going to make the roster pretty much guaranteed, then something's got to give. And while I still believe that it's more likely that there's a bias on this team towards Martinez because we drafted him just this last offseason, Helani was a UDFA from the previous year when we had Ryan Grubb as the coordinator. That bias can be overcome because Helani was probably our best player last week and Damien Martinez didn't really do anything. That's going to be interesting to watch. A third running back can get on the field for you, especially on this offense. If Helani is your number 3 back, then he is probably going to be a non-trivial part of your offense this season. And I'd also say the other guy I'm really keeping an eye on would be Anthony Bradford. And at this point, he's probably got the starting job locked up. Everything we're hearing and seeing is indicating he's got it. But I want to see if he's going to look good. I want to see if he's going to actually show that he has earned that starting job by looking good on the field, or if he's earned the starting job by being the only guy there. And it's more a question of who looked so incompetent that they couldn't be given the job. I want to find that out. And I've talked about Bradford a lot this offseason, actually, given what a low-level player he is relative to other players on this team. I've talked about Bradford more than I probably talked about guys like JSN or Sam Darnold, because Bradford is at a crossroads. Those guys aren't. Now, maybe Darnold is, but Bradford's really at a crossroads where if he does not show improvement this year, that might be it for his career. And I want to see if he's going to actually be good or he's just going to be the tallest little person here. Finding some stability at that right guard spot would be huge. If we can get something going there, at least these last few off seasons won't seem like a total loss with the non-trivial investment we have made at that right guard position. Beyond that, I want to see what's going on at edge. Jared Ivey is going to get more reps. Looking back at that first preseason game, and I didn't really notice him that much live, but if you go back to that first preseason game, he made some plays. He was doing good stuff, and this is a moment where the Seahawks need to make a decision. It doesn't look like Nwosu's going to be ready for the start of the season. How do you want to handle his absence? Because right now, Mafe, Hall, and Lawrence are your 3 edge players that actually have significant NFL experience and have shown they're good players in this league or can play even. Do you want to go make a trade for somebody? Do you want to make a big trade like Parsons? Do you want to make a middling trade for a guy like Hendrickson? Do you want to make a smaller trade for somebody like maybe Thibodeau or Odafe Owe? Do you want to go sign a free agent like Jadeveon Clowney? Or do you want to just roll with what you have? Is Jared Ivey good enough to get significant snaps until Nwosu comes back? Is Jared Ivey good enough to be your guy off the bench if somebody gets hurt later? Because right now it's him and Tyreek Smith. I don't think anybody else is going to get too involved on the team right now. Games like this is where you make those calls. This is where you make those decisions. And if Ivy plays good again, maybe you'll just feel comfortable enough to roll forward with it. So big moment for him. And of course, Jalen Milroe. I don't feel like Milroe is important to watch in games like this the same way these other players are, because Milroe, I feel like his role on this team for this year is pretty well defined. Doesn't really matter. He's going to be a trick play guy. He's going to get on the field in certain packages, but he's not going to actually be the quarterback for this team pretty much regardless of anything that happens. I suspect that Drew Lock is going to be the backup quarterback, and the barriers to Milroe actually playing quarterback this year are pretty extensive. I don't think that there's any scenario where Milroe even bumps out Drew Lock. And Drew Lock played okay last week in the preseason game. I'm not sitting here and acting like that Drew Lock played great. I think that there is a desire on the part of this team to insulate Milroe until he's ready, and they don't feel like he's anywhere close to being ready. But he remains a fascinating player to watch regardless, just because maybe that is your future quarterback. We're just a year or two away from finding that out. Okay. With that being said, let's get to the game. Let's see what happens. Thank you for watching. Maybe another video later today, but mainly we're going to be streaming with the Hawks Nest in a few hours. Tune in. Everyone have a great rest of your morning. Have a great rest of your day, and go Hawks.